Good morning, everyone. Oh, not morning where you're at? That's okay, because you could have eggs for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Welcome to episode 20 of Three Eggs Are Better Than One. I am Brad Stanton, along with fellow eggs Matt M. and Bryant Haremsa. We would like to thank everyone for the positive feedback from last week. We hope you don't have a fear of listening to the show. But let's kick this into gear. We always like to start off with some good news. So, Bryant, what's your sunny side up of the week?
You know, this week's been a little trying for me. Work, blizzards in Nebraska. It's a little crazy. So I'm actually going to steal something that Matt normally does. And I'm going to do an egg white instead of a sunny side up because there was this little conversation that happened on last week's episode that I would never got to weigh in on. But I would like to be the one to correct both of you. So
Oh, I'm very excited.
let me clear the throat, make sure I'm ready for this. In season 9, the final season of Roseanne, the Connors win the Illinois State Lottery. Dan ponders the meaning of life. As in the season's final episode, it is revealed that Roseanne herself wrote a story written by Roseanne Connor, inspired by her real life to cope with Roseanne's twisted major elements of her life and the story. The audience does not discover until the end that it is not a book and that it was actually a story. In reality, Dan had a heart attack at the end of season 8 and died. As Brad mentioned, Becky is dating David. Darlene is with Mark. Jackie is a lesbian. Beverly is straight. Scott is the probate lawyer whom Roseanne befriended and set up with Leon. And let me see here. Let's see here. What else do we want to throw in here? Anyway, the point is, it was all a story. It was all a dream. You're both partially correct. And I just wanted to be the one to jump in with this since I did not jump in on last week's topic with you guys.
I'm so happy about this because the first thing on my sunny side up was Roseanne. Well, I want Brad
No,
to.
no, no, just kick it into gear. We're gonna go out of line. Go ahead.
Okay, okay. So I did some research of my own because it's not like I watched every single episode of Roseanne when it was on. It was more casual viewing. And as I said last week, it was an unresearched conversation we were having. So, excuse me, I did a little research, and I gotta say, I didn't really come up with any solid answers because the truth falls somewhere in between. Season 9 was made up in her writing, and which is what I was saying, and Brad was saying like, no, the whole thing was concocted, and that's not true either. It was somewhere in between. There's some early episode where the kids give her a gift and some time and some space so she could do some writing. And it was just like a partial fabrication. So I watched like the final scene, which of course is on YouTube, and it's like 4 or 5 minutes. And it's her like sitting and writing, and she's just there's a voiceover, her own voiceover doing the whole thing, recounting some of the things that really happened, some of the things that she fabricated. My favorite part was said she wanted to finish her story, which of course made me think of Cody and wrestling. So I really liked that. But it was inconclusive. I think it was inconclusive. Brad, you're the only one who thinks it's very conclusive.
The reason I think it's conclusive is because of the Darlene and Becky dating situation. Both Mark and David were in very, very early episodes. And if you want to start just from the lottery, then that throws that whole thing out the window because they were in episode
Yeah.
I think they were in episode season 2 or 3. Like
Yeah.
it goes way back. So you're talking making up the story all the way from the second season. That's why I think I'm not saying there's not truths in the story. I'm saying that she fabricated from the beginning parts of it. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, this is beautiful material, honestly. Is there, how we talked about how there's like podcasts that go episode by episode for Boy Meets World and Cheers, etc. I hope they do it for Roseanne because it's deserving of it.
There's
Yeah.
probably one out there.
I would hope so.
I guarantee there is.
And
Yeah.
then, as we talked about, there was the revival series, and then they booted Roseanne off, and it's still on now, The Connors. And I never watched it, right? I said I watched the one scene, but when you read about it, there's so much of the past story where they just dismiss to fit their own, whatever their agenda is now. So, they've made it even murkier, like
Oh
what's
yeah, that whole last two
Yeah.
seasons never happened.
Yeah.
Now,
Well, and again, if you look at
and
it,
Dan's alive, by the way.
she admits in the season finale of the first run, Dan died of a heart
Yeah.
attack, and then he's now magically back to life.
He's alive. She's dead.
Yeah.
So that's it, right? The industry term is retcon, right? Retroactive continuity, which I love to use that in conversation with my friends when someone's telling some old ha story about some funny old thing we all went through, and somebody's just making some shit up because that's not really how it went down. And I'm like, no, you're retconning that situation, and that's what we go through. All right, we've captured that nicely. I have a couple more things if we have time. Brad, you spoke about the playing the trumpet. That had reminded me after the fact that for a very brief time when I was in elementary school, I played the saxophone poorly, but that made me think of Lisa Simpson, who is a well-known saxophone player. I was doing a little bit of research on The Simpsons because while I watched it in its early days, I don't watch it now, and I haven't in many years. But I discovered that they did not have a 1 hour episode until the 28th season of the show's existence, which was 2017. The show premiered in 1989 and has had how many hundreds of episodes? But it wasn't until 2017 where they were like, hey, maybe we should do a 1 hour special. That kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That kind of blew my mind.
Was it a Halloween?
No, it was not one of the Treehouse of Horrors. It was called The Great Fatsby, the PH on the fat.
Ah,
I don't know anything about it or the
no
episode.
pun intended, Gatsby, huh?
But I thought that was pretty interesting. So, and now we've completed my sunny side up.
Okay. So for me, I'm just going to say that I have told everyone here several times on this show, I have not had a drink since February 9th, and I plan on not having one until April 19th. And I've also been eating healthy, like cut out pretty much all the red meat, sweets, sodium, low sodium, and drinking a ton of water, a ton. And I have to say, I have never felt better in about 20 years. I feel freaking fantastic. I think most of it has to do with the water. I think that hydrating thing, go figure. Water is good for you.
Water's the only thing that's good for you.
Like I'm thinking clear. I had blood tests that were 100, not 100, but a lot better than they were last time. My back doesn't hurt. I went to the chiropractor. He goes, you know what? I think you're good, man. Why? What do you mean I'm good? Dentist, I know this, but I had 7 cavities last time I went to the dentist.
Oh my God.
I had none. I mean, I brush my teeth twice a day. I floss. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not eating candy. I don't know. There's something to this. That that sounds a little far-fetched because I haven't been doing it that long, but I'm feeling good. The tests are through the roof, so and I'm also calm, very calm. I'm not stressing out. So
Well,
that's my sunny setup. I just feel very healthy.
Now the proof is in the pudding because the next category is hard boiled.
Yeah.
How calm is he, folks?
All right. Bryant, remember I sent you a picture earlier in the week?
Yes, sir.
You have that available.
A pitcher like I'm from the Yankees.
A photograph, if you will. So, all right, I'm back in the grocery store this week. And guess where I'm at? I'm back at the deli. And, I'm getting ready to order for, like I said, like it's 1989 again. I got to talk to the person working there. Brian, do you have that picture or no?
Oh yeah, no, I didn't know if you were ready for it. I
I'm
didn't know when
stalling
you were
here.
ready for it.
I'm
There we go.
stalling.
No,
So-
you're good.
Do you see this red sign?
I see it.
Skip the line, order at the deli kiosk. There is no deli kiosk, and there has not been a deli kiosk in, I want to say, 8 to 10 months. Why in the world are they advertising to do this if you can't do it? I would love to skip the line. I don't want to wait in line. And this is just teasing me. You're absolutely teasing me. Now, do I know this is probably a national thing and they probably can't help it? Yes, but you got to figure this out because this is doing nothing but pissing people off. I want to pre-order it. I want to order my deli. my lunch meat, deli meat, cold cuts, whatever it is. And then I want to do my shopping. And then when I'm done, I go back and get it. I go to the line. Now, there are some holes in the deli kiosk ordering, though. Like if they're out of something, you just don't get it. It says out of it. So there's like obviously if you're ordering from someone at the counter, if you're ordering like all right, so you see this is Giant, the Giant brand ham, cooked ham. Oh, we're out of that. Okay, well, how about then we'll step up to the you can say that. You can't do that if you order at the kiosk. That's the only problem. So, but anyway, yes, a very big tease. Now, of course, I had someone in front of me again, and there absolutely no hurry whatsoever from this woman. And she says to the guy, she says, "So, I see that you have roast beef, store brand roast beef on special." And he goes, "We sure do. We sure do." She goes, "Is it rare?" And now my thought is, do you want it to be rare or do you want it to be well done? And he goes, "Well, it's not rare and it's not well done." Awesome answer. Awesome answer. So she says, "Well, can I see it?" And then he brings it out. It's red. What would you consider red? Rare, right? I know it's not like Pittsburgh blue here, but if it's red, I think that's what she's talking about. And she says, "That's fine." And then he, of course, says he cuts a piece of it and has her look at it. And is this good enough for you? And she says, it's gonna do. Okay.
Oh boy.
So then her turn is still up because it's just one at a time and there's only one person there. And she goes over and she finds some Hormel, I think it's Hormel pepperoni. Now that's a brand name that is separate from the deli, but but they have a little section behind us. And she brings it up and she goes, "Can you cut this Hormel pepperoni yourself?"
No.
Behind there?
This
What?
does not happen.
What? Yeah, and he's also gonna grab some potatoes from the freaking produce section and make some potato chips while he's at it.
French fries.
Where do you think you are here? Where do you
Oh my-
think you are?
How is this
my
your life? Did Larry David follow you around? And is that where he got all of his ideas? Seriously.
Finally, so this was all egg whites, by the way. Finally,
My favorite topic.
I was talking about the working out and putting it on Facebook in the morning, 6 a.m. So now I'm going to her Facebook page every day to make sure I don't miss this. So day 9 happened, right? And that happened, I think it was like Friday. I don't see anything Saturday. I don't see anything Sunday. Monday comes and a happy St. Patrick's Day, her just dressed up. Tuesday, Wednesday is day 10. My ass, day 10. That's day 15. You're just calling it day 10. Day 10, back at it again. No. You skipped 5 days, not to mention day 11 was today, which is another 2 days. It's already ending. It's already ending. St. Patrick's Day really put you back, huh? Some cakes and eggs, if you will. Hard boiled. Out.
This is great. I love this. I love this. I have some follow-up.
No kidding.
If I'm allowed.
You are.
First of all, I love a good kiosk. So we'll just put that on the list. Love a good kiosk. Outdated signage. If we could retroactively go back to my dislikes episode, outdated signage, I have a big problem with. And you all know what I'm about to say right now. This is unprepared, ladies and gentlemen. I do not have this written out. For the rest of our lives, we are going to be enduring outdated COVID signage. 6 feet away. Don't touch this. Don't touch that. Now, I'm not saying we should be less healthy and hygienic and stuff. No. Wash your hands. Use a sanitizer. Wear a mask at appropriate times. No problem there. But I don't think we need those signs everywhere anymore. And the markings on the floors, stand here, stand here, stand here. Take 5 minutes and undo it. Do you think I want to think about COVID all the time? That was a kind of an awful period for everybody's life, the whole planet. Let's erase some of the signage so I don't have to re-experience it. Hard-boiled.
As I'd say, hard boiled.
Before we move on, Bryant, do you have anything to add?
I'm going to ask this question here. As you're at the deli counter there, do you buy the cheese as well or just meat?
I do cheese up there if we need it.
You're up there, you get the cheese.
Yeah.
I've never bought cheese. I always just buy like the sliced cheese that's always in the with
Oh.
all the other cheeses.
But then you don't get to tell them the size of the
When
slice.
you say the
Who
sliced cheese
cares?
with all the other cheeses, do you mean in like the dairy section?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
like the
Oh,
Kraft
no.
singles and shit. Yeah, the
No,
Kraft singles.
like in the riddle
No.
in the plastic bags?
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Next
Um,
to the polio string cheese.
No, yeah. Next to like the string cheeses and
I'm
all the
okay
shredded
getting the
cheeses and stuff.
brick
You're a
cheese is
little boy.
there.
Yeah, so like my wife will get like this little square. It's
We
like a
know
little
what
square,
it
and
is.
then we cut up the cheese ourselves.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm talking about you're not doing the craft singles individual.
No. But it's over in
Okay.
that section, is what I'm saying.
All right, if Sue has a hand in this, I trust her, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with that because I like the brick cheese stuff, that you cut yourself. But I do get the American cheese slice or provolone.
Oh, love a Provi.
Yeah, good provolone. Not lately, but
Of
I
course.
have done it.
Yeah.
All right.
Has salt, you're not allowed.
Not a lot of it. All right, Bryant. Easter eggs. I just wanted to I gave you an Easter egg this week, huh?
I appreciate that. For those at home, Easter eggs, little hidden things, whether it be TV, movies, whatever, or, randomly around. I don't know what we're going for here, but Easter eggs, we go on Easter hunts as well. So again, I'm going to go back to my favorite thing, movies, television, and some Easter eggs that I found in movies. I did pull some of these from a couple sites as a way to help kind of emphasize my points a little bit on some of these. But for the first thing is we're going to go back to the movie Beetlejuice. We've all seen Beetlejuice, the original Beetlejuice, not the new Beetlejuice, but back in, the early 1980s, Tim Burton was kind of on the rise. And, one of the movies that brought him to fame was also Batman, but Beetlejuice as well. And one of the movies that would also come from the mind of Tim Burton would also be A Nightmare Before Christmas. And the idea for Jack Skellington really shows up in the movie Beetlejuice. As you can see, as in the scene where Beetlejuice comes up as he has the carousel, the top of the carousel, that's Jack Skellington right there.
Awesome. Love it.
So part of the carnival hat, part of the, the constant barrage of always just incorporating the next movie into it. So fun little thing there.
Wait a minute. What?
Go for it.
Hang on. This is wonderful. Thank you. Brad, weren't you a hater?
Of what? No, I like that it's in the I like the Easter egg.
No, the Nightmare Before Christmas.
I like Easter eggs, okay?
The Easter egg part here.
Yeah, I'm not saying the movie's a freaking theatrical masterpiece.
Mm.
There it is.
Mm-hmm. A little retcon action there.
So for our next one, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite movies, mentioned on the show already tons of times, Back to the Future.
Haha.
I think Brad probably already knows where I'm going. In the beginning, Marty goes to meet Doc at Twin Pines Mall. And that scene where Doc is reliving, what things were like back in 1955, he mentions that it was old Mr. Peabody's pine tree farm. So when Marty goes back in time, he's obviously, gets locked into the barn, attacked and shot at by old man Peabody. As he's driving out, he drives over and he runs over a pine tree. Now, at the time, you think that's nothing weird, nothing odd. But as Marty makes his way back to 1985, as you can see in the top picture, it's when Marty arrives at the original spot meeting Doc. And in the bottom picture is when he returns back to 1985. As you see, the name has changed. Twin Pines Mall at the beginning of the movie, now Lone Pine Mall at the end of the movie.
I've never seen that, Brian. I know that's what you were doing.
Oh, you didn't realize that? Oh, yeah.
No.
This is good.
Oh man.
I think, and Bryant, you're the one here who's going to correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's what we call the butterfly effect.
It is. Yes, you are correct. So
That's
yes,
awesome.
by Marty driving over the pine tree, it changes the name of the mall in the future. So yes, a butterfly
What a
effect.
terrible name, Lone Pine Mall.
To know that he got Twin Pines Mall, okay, makes sense. To now be like in the future going, nah, we'll just represent the one pine. Like, what are we doing here? I mean, just tells you how messed up the town is.
This is the sort of thing you see nowadays a lot, but for a movie that's 40 years old, very impressive.
Very impressive. My pine. Why you?
Yep. So I have one more, and it involves Pixar. Pixar has, took over the world in the late 1990s with obviously Toy Story being the big hit to start the franchise with Pixar. And as the franchise grew, there was always a tying theme to all this. And one movie they came out with is called Brave. And it's set in the medieval times. And one of the odd pieces in that movie happens to be this little car that happens to look like the Pizza Planet delivery truck. Now, why do I bring this up? Obviously, it's a nice little tie-in for the movie Brave. But are you guys aware that the Pizza Planet vehicle is in almost every Pixar movie?
I mean, it seems like every time they make a movie, they include everything from the past movies, as you've been teaching us.
As you can see by the diagram I found here, obviously Toy Story, it's in A Bug's Life, Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, The Incredibles. It's in it's in the Cars movies. It's in Up as well. Obviously in Wall-E as well. On top of that is the common theme that Pixar tries to tie into all of its movies is with the Pizza Planet vehicle.
Wow. You could do this. You could do a podcast on this, couldn't you?
I could. I love this stuff.
Yeah, there could be a Pixar Easter egg just Pixar.
Oh, Pixar alone, yeah.
There's not even that many Pixar movies.
There's not that many Pixar movies, but if you just picked apart each one,
Yeah.
each one ties in together somehow. There's always something that ties all of them together.
And here on Three Eggs Are Better Than One, we appreciate that.
Yes.
Love it. New topic alert.
New topic alert.
The new topic is called Moons Over My Hammy. Obviously a play on the famous food from Denny's, Moons Over My Hammy. And what this topic is going to be is it could be anything to do with restaurants, restaurant reviews, experiences, anything related at all. So I don't even have anybody going first, second, or third on this. So, hey, Matt, we're not going to go with you because you're next. So let's go with Bryant.
Well, I believe I gave a great review of, I believe I called them Cane's Raising here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So let me give you a different one here. And for me, first of all, I've also might get criticism here. Never been to Denny's. I'm assuming it's good food. I know they do breakfast, I assume. I see by the commercials with their Grand Slams. So I'm going to talk about something local here. And I'm also just doing it because it's my friend's restaurant, his father's restaurant. It's called the Pickled Pig. And he does a lot of the breakfast foods, but he's also kind of starting to branch out. He started it off as breakfast burritos, just making breakfast burritos for people. Now it's breakfast. He's kind of doing some like fusion meals with noodles and kind of doing burgers and Mexican food. It's just a kind of a catch-all restaurant, but you can really sense his love of cooking, and it's really good food, local for everything. And always try to shout him out when I can, just because, you always want to do the chains are always going to be there, but the local is kind of the things you always want to do. So Pickled Pig, great restaurant, great food, recommend it for everybody.
Awesome. Yeah. Shout out. Hopefully he's doing well.
Yeah.
Good
Very
restaurant. Well. Does nice business.
Yes. Nice business. And it's in our kind of our historic district. So it's kind of it's an older building. So it's kind of got that historical markers with it to make it kind of help draw in the crowd a little bit for it.
Cool. Well, what I'm going to talk about is we have Easter coming up here. And so, I'm an American family. We had split holidays with the other families. And we always have Thanksgiving as ours, and we always gave up Easter. So because of that, we never really celebrated Easter because my family lives pretty far away and the kids aren't there. So we would go out. And for the last 5 years or so, we have gone to a restaurant called Nebraska. Now, as I mentioned, during the time up to Easter, you have your Fridays, I don't eat meat, stuff like that. So you kind of really get it in on Easter Sunday. You know what I mean? So we would go to Nebraska, and it's what's called a Brazilian restaurant. So you sit down at the table, and they come over to you with you put your card up or down, and then they cut the meats right at your table. So you have 4 or 5 different kinds of steak, sirloin, filet, just all kinds of different kinds of steak. And you have lamb, a couple every time the rack of lamb, and then you have the lamb chops, some sausages, some chicken, usually marinated, and for some reason pineapple, which I just say pass on. But I'll tell you what, that really adds up after you're eating pretty good at first, and then it just keeps coming on your plate, and all of a sudden you have a half a cow on your plate, and it's start getting the meat sweats. But it's always good. I don't know if we're gonna do it this year, but I highly recommend it. It's always expensive, but to do something once or twice a year, it's nice.
I think I've only been to one of those barbecue type places once, and they started to bring over some weird stuff real quick. It was like quail,
Hmm.
and he
You know, had quail
says,
before.
I want to try
uh,
quail.
It's
there was a couple.
delicious.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't even know that was a non-fiction bird.
yeah.
I
We do quail hunting out here in
we
Nebraska.
Oh,
do.
yeah,
So
just like in Wedding Crashers.
yeah,
That's the first thing I think about in Wedding Crashers. He goes, I don't even know what a quail is.
Oh, there, I guess. Yeah,
That's a funny
I
line.
guess I'm Bradley Cooper. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's my turn.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brad.
What are we? What topic are we on?
Moon's over my hammy.
Oh, that's right. It was new topic alert. Can you hear that or no?
or what?
There's this. I'm playing a sound effect that's not working.
Good
Yeah.
job.
Okay. I have two things. The first is a follow-up as it relates to food. And that could have included this earlier, but we made our way here now. I want to point out one of our YouTube followers had a story that I loved about how he worked a deli counter at a grocery store, and he would do the whole charade with, "Let me cut this slice of meat, let me hold it up. You can tell me if it's too, if it you like the thickness of it," and they would turn it down. And he said, and man, do I love this so much. He would pretend to make an adjustment to the slicer, show them another slice, they'd be all about it, and then they would go about our business. So it's just people just need to be appeased. And I was talking about this with another person that I know, and this is where I'm going to incorporate the restaurants. This person had worked at a restaurant for a very long time, and they said people would often complain about the temperature in the restaurant. It's too hot, it's too cold, whatever it is. And they would say, "Okay, give me a few minutes, I'll go see what I can do." They would go, sort of tell the manager, their manager would give them the old wink, uh-huh. And then nobody would do anything because they're much more busy with actually taking people's orders and serving people's food. And then they would go back to the table and say, "Yes, ma'am, we've adjusted the temperature. Oh, it's much better now." And in reality, nobody made any sort of change. It's a total mindfuck situation where you just think people are catering to you. Okay, that happened in a restaurant. So that's the end of the deli counter story. But what I really wanted to talk about for this new topic, I went in a little bit of a different direction. Something about myself, it wasn't, I don't know if it was a conscious decision, but to this day, when I'm eating with my hands, I only use my left hand. Now, if I'm using utensils, obviously I'm going to use both hands, cutting, fork, and all that. But if I'm having like a sandwich or a burger or chicken wings, I only pick it up with my left hand. Now, the reason why, since you've asked, is because I just like my right hand, my dominant hand, to be available to do whatever else is going on, using my phone, working, writing something down, opening the fridge, getting water. I don't know. But when I touch food, to me that's like now my hands are instantly dirty, so I don't want to touch anything else. So I only touch food with my left hand. I know people might have different reasons for this, but that's my reason. And then whenever I'm observing things in real life, at a restaurant, on TV, people on Hot Ones eating chicken wings, a lot of times people are using both hands. And I just think to myself, man, I would just never do that. I would just never make both my hands dirty. Because if both my hands are dirty, then I can't do anything else with my hands. That's a mad M. I mean, that's a mad M right there.
That is a mess. The
That,
maddest of
that,
all M's.
that is.
I mean, when I eat wings, I eat them with one hand as well, so I get it.
Oh, two-handed eater.
Ah,
Yeah, yes, you look. I mean, look at his face.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, well, I know what it means. I know what it means. So there, that was my moons over my hammy.
So I got some breaking news. Okay. Now, friend of the show, Devin Dowling, very, very, very big supporter of the show. And of course, one of my co-hosts and Brian's co-host on the Kickout crew just gave birth to a baby boy, Caden Wade Dowling, born today at 7 p.m. Congratulations, Devin and Erica.
Wow. Man, I tell you what, this should probably be national news if our male friend is giving birth, not just on this little podcast here.
All right. All right. Anyway, congratulations, Devin. We're very happy for you. Shout out Erica as well. Which brings us to the omelet, Matt.
Folks, we're at the omelet, also known as egg salad, because we are doing questions, people. We have done Matt M questions before, and we are doing Matt M questions today, which will require involvement from the other eggs. We have done this before. I have bolstered the list. I've expanded my questions. Things that you observe while watching TV shows and movies. Have you ever done these things? Bryant, have you ever? Brad, have you ever? Matt, have you ever done these things? Let's get started. When you're on a phone call, do you end that call by just hanging up, pressing the end button, or do you say goodbye first?
I say some kind of conclusion,
Yes.
I'll see you
Yeah.
later. Goodbye. Later,
Right.
Gator.
you say later, Gator? Really?
I have said later, Gator.
Oh, wow.
Oh God.
Ready, Freddy? Use that.
How was that a goodbye?
That's an egg white without freaking context.
Yeah, that is that's a Brian, you just hang up, or is it like, okay, all right, thanks. I'll see you later. Bye.
So for like work, yes. I was like, okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll hang up the phone.
Right, just make that paper move on.
Yep. If it's like someone I know, like my mom or family members, I'll be like, hey,
Mhm.
see you later, goodbye. Like I'll do that. But for work, no, it's just thanks.
Now, when you're on a TV show, you're solving a crime, you're stopping a attack on the country, and you're just like, I won't even,
day in the life for me, saving the country. Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Brian's our hero. All right, next question. Let's say you're on a video call. Now, I call them Zooms, brand name. You might have a Teams call, or I don't like Teams. You might have Teams or any sort of video call. I like to call them Zoom calls. Now, when that Zoom call is over, and I am asking this of everybody in our listenerhood here, do you just slam down that lid of your laptop? Boom. Or, do you actually go and click end call?
I do the exact same thing I do every week here. I end it when we say goodbye. We hit end. I don't slam anything. I close it afterwards.
If you've ever watched a TV show or a movie in the last 5 years, people they're just slamming that lid shut like that ends the call.
It should. Just like the old flip phone, just done.
Done.
Is
Ow.
that even true? Did the flip end the call? I don't even know if it did.
It did.
I don't remember anymore.
It did, yeah.
Perhaps.
I don't know. Okay. Here's what I really like. Really think about what I'm asking you here. Have you ever ordered food for somebody, including a loved one, including your spouse or a loved one? Have you ever ordered food for somebody without asking them what they wanted?
Ordering for someone is, really? So we're watching Gypsy Rose the other day. Gypsy Rose, Life After Lockup. And he orders octopus for both of them. And as much as you might think Gypsy Rose is a little bit wacky, which she is, She says, "I'm sorry, did you just order octopus for me?" Yeah. No, thank you. Okay. I'm good. I don't want to eat any octopus. No, I haven't
Oh,
done that. I have ordered after done the ordering if we've talked about an appetizer or something like that, but that's the end of it. I mean,
Now, you know,
she'll have the fried beets.
right. No, just to clarify, I don't mean there's a group setting and you order some apps for the table. I don't mean that. I mean like you're expecting somebody in an hour and you dial it up or you call the DoorDash and you order it like, "Oh, I ordered this. I ordered these three Chinese food dishes because I knew you were coming." No, you communicate. You don't. I don't want people to just assume I'm going to eat what they order for me. It's preposterous.
No, but anything on a date. I want to be on a first date, right? Which will never happen again, but on a first date and just order her food and not ask her. That's a strong move.
Are there dudes who do that? I mean, that's not a good move.
Oh man, but so what? It's a great story.
Brian, what about you? You guys order together?
so my wife has staples, and I know them by heart. So if she's like, "Hey, I want to have Antonio's," I know what to order.
Okay.
Hey, we're going to Perkins. I know what to order.
Perkins, huh? Same as Denny's, pretty much.
Okay,
Wow.
thank you.
Perkins.
You know, wherever we go, I know what she likes. I know what she wants. So I can do that. Yes. And I have done that with DoorDash before as well.
But you've spoken about it ahead of time, so
That's the sunny side up of this question. You're not taking any octopus risks there.
Oh God, no. No.
All right.
Also, my wife hates seafood, so that wouldn't matter.
Yeah, well, you're
so
17
does Gypsy.
you're 17 states away from a body of water. I would hate seafood too. All right, let's move on. Have you ever been talking to somebody one on one? There's somebody else there. They're not in the conversation, but you can see them, they can see you. And maybe what you're saying to the person that you are actually speaking to is a little facetious or something. So you throw a little wink in the direction of that other person. You're trying to give off that, I'm just
Yeah.
yes and Have you ever done that? Because let me tell you, that happens on TV shows all the time. And I don't know if that's ever happened in real life.
So, funny story, and being in the sales business. Now, this is years ago. I had an older sales manager that used to say, "Hey, Brad, go ahead and give these customers the warranty for cost." And then he would wink 4 times in a row.
No,
And I'm like, guess what? Everybody saw that. But no, I know what you're saying. No, nobody does that.
I forget I'm in a room with two salesmen here.
Yeah.
And an executive. Ugh.
Says the executive guy.
I've never said that.
No, we know.
Yeah.
Are you a winker, Bryant?
I've done it occasionally. Same thing, kind of like
Right.
Brad mentioned of, let's see if we can,
Mhm.
get him a deal here, and you throw him a little wink to be like, we'll get you
Oh,
something.
that is the diet, Dr. Pepper. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I don't even know if I could wink.
I thought we know he can't be in sales. You can't wink.
Yeah, if
That's
you can't wink, you can't be in sales.
That's
No,
part of being sales.
and it's like week 16 of your life. If you can't
No.
wink, then you can't. Okay.
No, executives either open their eyes or they shut them all the way. There's no winking. There's no one eye wink.
Right,
true.
right. Okay. All right, let's continue. Have you ever been so distracted or upset, distraught by something that's going on in your life, like a real life situation? It was time for the next meal and the meal was in front of you and you were just like, I can't eat. Have you ever
Yes.
not eaten a meal because you were upset?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I have.
I don't believe it.
Have you ever had a first love break your heart, Matt? Huh?
Before
I mean,
eating?
probably. I mean, probably.
I mean, it should happen after you eat because they want you to pay for it, right?
Oh man, there's the salesman again.
There it is.
No, I'll eat.
Let me tell you, that's something that happens all the time on the screen.
Push it away.
No, I can't do it.
You can't even eat
do
this
it.
now. Yeah.
What? A BS storytelling device. Okay, how about this one? Have you ever said to somebody, Where do you think you're going?
Yeah, I do it all the time.
Oh, you do
Yeah.
I
not.
do it all the
Come
time.
on, let's.
Yeah.
I said it to my boss the other day. I was coming back from something and he was walking out. I'm like, where do you think you're going?
Come on.
I
Yeah.
do
I
it.
do it to Sue. Like, it's funny to me to do it to her.
I don't mean
I've said it to the
comedically.
dog. I'm like, where do you think you're going?
I
When
don't
he
Yeah,
goes
mean.
yeah.
upstairs, he thinks he's going to sleep in bed. You're not sleeping in bed, pal. Where do
I
you
do
think
that
you're
to
going?
I do the same thing to my dog. My dog starts going towards the stairs to go outside. I'm like, where do you think you're
Oh
going? And then she'll
man.
stop and stare at me. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought.
You know, had I known this would make us talk about dogs, I would have never said it. But this is a good turnout. This is a good turnout. But I do think you're saying it ironically, comedically. I
What do you
don't
mean
think.
in a mean way? Where do you think you're going?
Where do you think you're going? Like somebody,
I've seen an employee put a coat on before closing time when he's supposed to close. I'm like, where do you think you're going?
right?
This
Okay,
happened.
this is good. I
And
like.
then
I
he
like.
said, I already cleared it with you earlier. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever said to somebody, "Now's not a good time," or "It'll only take a minute," when they've already told you, like, no, now's not a good. Both sides of the coin there.
Yeah,
Now's not a good time.
but it'll only take a minute. Yes, I've done
Or
both
the
those.
opposite. No, the opposite. Now it's gonna go. It'll only take a minute. Somebody already told you they don't have time, and you're like, no, it'll only take a minute.
Well, yeah,
Take the minute.
Yeah.
I got a minute for you. All right, let's make this minute count.
My father, may he rest in peace, wonderful father. Hey Matt, you got like 5 minutes? I do, but what you're calling about is 25 minutes.
Yeah,
That's
there's the
different.
lie, right?
Yeah, like I love you and I'd love to talk to you about this, but I only actually have 5 minutes. You're masquerading your 5 minutes, but it's actually 35 minutes. And again, I'd love to have this 35-minute conversation, but I can't do it during work right now, you know?
Right. Yeah, I've had that I've had that call too.
Yeah. All right, a couple more. Have you ever walked into a conference room and said, "Give us the room"?
No, no,
Really? I mean, because every episode of TV I ever watch, that's what happens. So that doesn't really happen?
no. But what I have done is after the meeting, said, "Hey, you stay back,"
Well, okay, so that is a reasonable, sensible approach.
but I don't say give us a room up
Yeah.
front. No,
Give us the room.
no.
Give us the room.
I have
Can
done
we
that
have
as a
the room?
joke.
Brian's done it.
Can we have
Brian's
the...
done it.
So we have our warehouse
I don't mean
manager.
ironically.
Our warehouse manager is based for some reason he doesn't want to accept his office, so he just takes over our conference room. So when I have to have a meeting, I have to kick him out. So I walk in and go, "Hey, we need the room. Get out."
Give us the room. You have to say it the right way next time, though.
Oh, I don't say it the right way. I apologize. But yeah, I usually say, "We need the room," and then I snap and go, "Get out."
Yes.
Okay.
Good. Good
There's
job.
right. You're playing games there though. That's a lack of sincerity there.
Yeah, but he just takes my office, so there's really no difference. We just swap offices for the day, for the moment.
All right. This has been good. I got two more things. We're gonna get real for a second. When you're in a car, regardless of where you're sitting, do you wear a seatbelt?
Yes.
Yes.
Driver, shotgun, backseat. I always wear a seatbelt.
Yeah. I don't really sit in back seats.
Yeah, I don't think I've sent a back seat in
Not in
years.
about 38 years.
No, I mean, I that's certainly not my preference, but maybe you're in a car with,
I don't think I'm putting it on in the back seat.
No, I don't. If I have to, I
Oh.
would. No.
What about like an Uber?
A what?
I know. I don't remember. I'm usually drunk.
Okay, hang on a second. Did Bryant just say he doesn't know what an Uber is?
No, I know what Uber is. We don't have that around here at
Oh,
all.
Jesus.
Do you have Lyft?
Nope.
Okay. So you have
Have you ever been
taxis?
in a have you ever
Yeah.
been in a
We have
have you ever
we have two taxi cabs in this car in this town. Two
No,
taxi
yeah,
cabs. In this town.
a yellow one?
No, they're both white, so it's
Oh.
funnier.
Okay.
I should
We
have
Yeah.
done
got dead air here.
should have done more research on that one. Okay. Well, here the reason why I asked that question is nobody wears seatbelts on TV. I mean, what's that
Sure.
about? What's going on there? Well, I don't need to see them strap
That way
it.
I can jump out easier.
I'm not trying to waste film time on watching them strap it in, but they
Oh,
they could be wearing it. Okay. Last one for this session of questions. Have you ever needed to go to the hospital, but you refused
Yes.
because whatever your mission was at that moment was more important?
I probably have avoided going to the emergency room a few times to get stitches and figured it out on my own.
Figured it out. Okay, we're
Yes.
gonna have to hear one of these stories.
Well, no, there's not really stories. I break open my head quite often, and I know I could use a stitch or two, but I just find other ways to make sure it stops.
Break open your head quite often?
Yeah, I hit my head a lot.
I mean, we realize that you don't have the layer of protection of hair that most people do.
Correct. I hit my head on the shed, coming out of the shed the other. Ooh, it was bloody.
It was bloody?
Bloody.
Well, yeah, of course.
No, I'm talking about like there's a car accident, you go flying out, and it's like, no, I gotta go save my fiance. I'm not gonna.
No, always if it's serious, we're going.
Well,
No, like I will do everything in my power to avoid.
Broken
yeah.
leg, staying back.
So,
I mean, Lord
example,
knows what kind of hospitals you have that you don't even have a taxi cab. What kind of hospital? What kind of doctors you got
They
there?
probably have
So-
one ambulance.
Wow.
probably.
We're
So-
busy. We get there, we get there.
Yeah.
Perfect example. Got in a car accident. Wasn't wearing my seatbelt. Flew around the van a little bit. Couldn't move my head. Lied to just avoid going because I was like, I'll feel better tomorrow. I'm fine.
I mean,
I'll feel better tomorrow.
That sounds really stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, you wonder why there's been no advancement in that state.
it's true. Yeah.
You know, to quote my, one of my favorites, Jerry Seinfeld here. Oh, go to my doctor. He's the best. There can't be this many bests. Somebody was graduating at the bottom of these classes, and maybe
They're all here.
they're all there.
They still graduated.
Well, thank you for indulging in my omelet, and let's move on to the next thing, Brad.
So we're gonna do over easy, which just means who is over with you this week? Who has won you over? So, Bryant, who's over with you this week?
Who's over with me? It's simply this. It's the NCAA Wrestling Championships going on right now. Who's over with me? It's the Nebraska wrestling team. It's the whole team. All 9 qualified. All 9 are going to be All-Americans. It's an amazing accomplishment. Currently in the team race with Penn State. Who's over with me? I'm going to put over Brock Hardy, Ridge Levitt, and Antrell Taylor, all 3 national finalists. And they're over with me based on their amazing tournament they've had this week and their stellar seasons, to be quite frank. And as a season ticket holder for wrestling, fantastic to watch them throughout the year. Happy they have made the national championships, and they are who over with me this week.
Fantastic. I know you're a
Nice.
big wrestling fan, so you've been
I have
absorbing all of it.
Yes.
I have comments.
No, please.
I didn't know one could acquire season tickets to amateur wrestling. That's
They have
impressive.
home. So in college, they have a lot of home duels. So it's just basically you get tickets to the duels.
Okay. So is this supposed to like match up to March Madness, like the timing and the
Yeah, they call it March Madness.
Oh my God, that's great.
Yeah, crazy, right? Yeah.
I see. They're not doing a good enough job of marketing that.
No, it's terrible marketing because they always try to say ESPN loves wrestling, and it's like, no, you only hear about it like 2 days before the tournament starts. And
I mean, March Madness is great. Maybe it's not everybody's cup of tea. It's never going to be as popular as the basketball, but
it's true.
they can make something out of that.
Oh yeah.
And the second thing I want to say is, if your name is Brock, I think your choices are limited there. Athlete, and dying at 20 is probably your options there.
Whoa.
Yo.
Okay.
So, who's over with me this week? Governor Patrick Morrissey from West Virginia. Why do you say? Well, we're going to get back into the March Madness. All right. Basketball, of course. West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrissey stood at a lectern during a press conference on Monday with a sign that read, National Corrupt Athletic Association, NCAA, after the West Virginia Mountaineers didn't make it into March Madness bracket. The Mountaineers were one of the teams on the bubble. The bubble means that you maybe get in, maybe you don't. And while some believe that they had a strong enough case to be among the 68 teams selected, the teams committee thought no. Now, their record was 19-13. Very bubblish. Very, very bubblish. However, they do have some quality wins that they had a case. But I don't I don't think he had enough to do it, but I do appreciate that he went this way. Morrissey also announced that he has asked West Virginia Attorney General John McCuskey to open an investigation into the NCAA selection committee to see if the backdoor deals were made. You got to love the effort, if anything else. So yes, Governor Patrick Morrissey, you back your team. You back your team, man.
To add on to that, though, they got taken out for the blue blood North Carolina, who was the quote unquote last team in, which would have been the West Virginia spot.
I left that out, Bryant, because that is all an assumption. I mean, it is an assumption.
Well, I mean, it just seems odd that, North Carolina, who had a worse record, worse season than West Virginia, but somehow still managed to get in. That's part of the backdoor deals that the Attorney General is
So
talking about.
I'm going to drop it after this, but I will say this: West Virginia lost in the first round of the Big East or the Big 12 tournament, and they lost to a team that was had a very poor season, a 16 seed in the Big East, and I think that's why they're out. And North Carolina won a couple games in the ACC tournament.
Yeah,
that's what happened. But again, I get it. North Carolina is always the like America's team, kind of like the way the Cowboys are, maybe Notre Dame, stuff like that. Matt, what do you got?
College sports, absolutely zero. I was fascinated by the March
You can talk about your
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is my thing?
Well, we're talking about who's over with you this week.
Oh, right. Right. What is over with me is my background. I don't know if you guys know what it is, because I don't know if you watch the show. Severance, Apple TV Plus show. I believe we've mentioned it on the show, on our show before. As we're recording, last night was the season 2 finale, and it was great. And this show has really striked popularity recently, and I'm a huge fan of it. It has the same vibe as Lost did in terms of a mystery, a sci-fi element, love for the characters, a week to week what's going on. I have endless theories. Brad, I know you love Lost, and it kind of has that. It kind of has that vibe to it. I think what's very unique about this show is that the first season premiered in 2022, which is 3 years ago, and it had almost no notoriety at the time. It was just another show on streaming. It's a type of show, so it's not going to be approaching the widest audience. I thought it was great. I thought it was amazing, and it kind of fell by the wayside. The entertainment industry always has its struggles. There's been various work stoppages, strikes, and other things getting in the way of shows sort of coming out on a routine fashion, one season a year like it used to. So there was 3 whole years going by in between seasons. I think Apple made a really, really smart move, because I'm pretty sure in the approach to the season 2 premiere, they put the season 1 episodes out on their platform for free to try to re-engage the audience. And I think that really helped them, because it is now Apple's most watched series, surpassing Ted Lasso.
Wow.
Which was a huge, huge hit. Now, I don't know. These statistics are a little troubled because, as every day goes by, there's probably more customers watching streaming. And by the way, Ted Lasso announced a season 4, which is great. He's going to be coaching a women's team. So anyways, back to Severance. I just want to mention some of the people on the show: Adam Scott, Britt Lauer, Zach Cherry, Trammell Tillman, Jen Tulloch, Don Turturro, Christopher Walken, Daishin Lockman, Patricia Arquette. Now, there's some real heroes in there in that world. It's a great show. If you haven't watched it, avoid spoilers. Start from the beginning. Binge it. If it's a beautiful day out, 65 degrees, just stay inside and binge it anyway. They're really don't give me that look, Brad.
No.
It's a great
bad weather when you do that. What are we talking about? Why'd you do the opposite?
Well, you don't get a show like this all the time where every piece about it is just They knew what they were doing. They put the effort in. And I think I mentioned this last time, but Ben Stiller is like the lead creative force on the show. He directs the episodes. And it's just great. And I'm not a big rewatcher. I'm probably gonna rewatch everything because it comes off as such a simple show, but it's very thorough. There's a lot to absorb, and you're missing out if you're not watching it.
Fantastic. So we'll have to check that out, right, Bryant?
Yeah, have to see how it's about.
So, which brings me back to this is going to be my topic of the week: knock on eggs with a little bit of duck eggs in there. So everybody had such a good time hearing about my superstition last time. I thought I would add another one. So I'm not a big fan of at all of black cats. Now, there's I'm going to talk about what they are in a few minutes here, but so I have actually left my house before, started driving down the road, and I've seen a black cat cross the road. And what I do in these situations is I stop the car, I pull into the nearest driveway, I turn around, and I go another way out of my we call them sections, out of my section, or if I'm just in another section, the same thing. I'm going to avoid it at all costs. Why? Because I don't need any bad luck. I walk my dogs a lot in the neighborhood, and if I see a black cat, we're going to take a different route because I'm not interested in crossing my path. Now you say, what if this black cat, it probably crossed your path, you didn't see it? Happens every day, right? Well, if I don't know about it, it didn't happen. So we're going to go with that. So yes, I will avoid the cat situation every chance I get because black cats, nothing good can come from that. Go. I'm going to get into some other things, but what do you have to say, Matt?
I mean, that is truly participating in a classic superstition.
Yeah.
Like someone else made some shit up 100 years ago, and you're like, yeah, I'll buy that.
Yeah.
So when I have a black cat walk in front of me while I'm driving, I do the superstition thing and I do the sign of the cross because of fear of that black cat superstition.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
What? That's worse.
No, that's how I was always told. If a black cat comes in front of you, you do the sign of the cross and it helps ward off the juju.
Okay. So you're both afraid of cats. Brad runs the other way, and Bryant throws holy water on them. Okay.
Well, no. I'm not saying I'm afraid of cats, but I'm saying if a black cat comes across your path, that's supposed to be bad luck, and you do that as a way to kind of counteract it.
I like it. So let's get into that. Superstition 1. Black cats are witches in disguise. If you're spooked when you see a black cat, it's probably from the medieval folklore that continues to shroud the reputation of these kitties. Black cats have long been associated with witches and witchcraft. It's said that the story began when a black cat was seen running into a house thought to be inhabited by a witch. During the Middle Ages, black cats became equated with black magic. Roaming nocturnal black cats were thought to be witches in disguise, witches' pets, or animal-shaped demons sent by witches to spy on humans. From the early 13th century in Europe through the 17th century in Salem, the witch trials were in Massachusetts, black cats were killed along with those who were considered witches. Black cats have evolved into icons of anything related to witchcraft, especially during the Halloween season. So I will say a sign of the cross for that. Second superstition is a black cat is associated with bad luck and sadly death. This fear of black cats appears to stem from medieval times when animals with dwarf feathers or fur, or dark feathers or fur, including crows and ravens, signaled death. In the 16th century Italy, it was believed that death was imminent if a black cat would lay on someone's sick bed. In modern-day North America, negative connotations continue to haunt black cats. It is considered bad luck if a black cat crosses your path, and good luck if a white cat crosses your path. Another family member is bound to die if you spot a black cat during a funeral procession, and it's a bad omen if you see a black cat walking away from you. Fortunately, all these ideas are just superstition, so they say. But guess what? That's only around here, because black cats are also believed to be good luck. In many ways, in ancient Egypt, black cats were held in the highest esteem because they resembled Bastet, the cat-headed Egyptian goddess of home, fertility, and protection from disease. Black cats are considered good luck in other parts of the globe as well. In Asia and the UK, you're going to be lucky in life if you own a black cat. In Japan, you'll have luck in finding love if you spot a black cat. In parts of England, a bride will have luck in her marriage if she receives a black cat as a gift. That's hilarious to me. In Europe, sailors will have safe journey if they bring along a black cat on the ship. In Scotland, you'll have a common prosperity if a black cat appears at your doorway or on your porch. In France, something magical is about to happen if you see a black cat. In other cultures around the world, it's a sign of good luck. If you dream about a black cat, see one walking towards you, or if you happen to find a stray white hair on its gleaming ebony fur. So there you have it. Black cat, 9 life short, day long. Okay. Sorry, Matt. Don't mean to offend you.
No, I'm not offended. Interesting. I didn't know there was cultures that thought it was a good song.
Pretty much everyone but us.
Now, what does that tell you? What does that tell you about everything that everybody believes in is just all made up?
That was just interesting,
right? No, it is interesting. It's very interesting. Yeah, Brian, what do you think?
See, and I kind of like the Salem witch trial thing is the thing that I immediately think of with the black cat, which is why I was, as a child, taught you do the sign of the cross as a way to counteract the witches' spirits and, the bad stuff that they're trying to portray and cast to you. So that's why you do that. And so, yeah, no, I knew that part, but knowing it was good luck kind of, who's going to give a black cat as a wedding gift? I mean, I want to know that part. Like,
I know, right? Here you go.
I want to know who's walking in with, here's a cat.
I'll tell you what, if you give it to Matt M on his wedding, he's not walking out with it.
No. No, he is not.
All right. So we're running a little long today. So why don't we go ahead and hit the socials, Matt, and see what you got.
Well, thanks for joining us. This has been 3 Eggs Are Better Than One. We're cooking up every Monday morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. Find us on YouTube at 3 Eggs Are Better Than One. The number 3, the letter R, the number 1. Follow us on X, Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok at 3 Eggs Are Better. The number 3, the letter R, and also our individual accounts at YesManBrad, at BHaremza, and I am at Purple Shirt Guy without the I. We're looking to get some 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. I want to thank Devin, new father, for his recent positive review. Thanks very much. And we're giving your new son 5 stars. What do we got going on next week, guys?
So I had something that I had talked to you guys about. I'm not doing it next week. I'm sorry, Bryant. It's going to wait until the time after. Because something has come up recently that I feel I have to cover now. There is a movie that has not been released. And I'm going to get into why. And then we're going to talk about movies that were never released, that are fully made, by the way. And the movie that we're going to be talking about next week is Wile E. Coyote versus Acme. Coyote versus Acme from Warner Brothers. So it is an interesting story.
Now this is we could talk about this. We don't have to clear it.
Hey, it never come out.
It never came out, and it is, as far as I know, we're safe unless something else buys it. But the reason this has come up recently is because Warner Brothers has released a more recent movie, a Looney Tunes movie. So this is why this has come up. So it's a very interesting story. So I can't wait to get into it. And I would also like my fellow eggs to come up with some movies that maybe shouldn't have been released that were.
Okay.
We can do that.
So, all right, Brian, take us home.
Well, we thank you guys for joining us this week. We've had a lot of fun discussing and, correcting some things or learning some new things and just asking and answering some random questions. As always, leave a review, tell a friend. We're always going to be here every Monday. The egg timer's been set. We'll see you guys next week.